In my previous video, I created the star animation using a graphics library LVGL. Today I want to try something different. I'm going to let AI recreate it. Even if you have never heard of the LVGL graphics library before, that's completely fine. This video is really about one simple question. Can Claude AI generate usable code that actually runs on real hardware? So let's begin. Namaste and welcome back to Avinashee Tech. I'm going to open Claude and ask it to generate the code for this star animation. I'll also share a sample image of my hardware setup so it understands basically what we really want. And before we continue, I would like to do a quick mention. This particular graphics framework I'm using already provides a tool that converts an image into a C file, which can then be used directly in our program. So instead of generating the star mathematically, it would be much easier and better looking for that smaller OLED display to just use a image file. By the way, if you are interested in learning about displays and this graphics library in detail, I have a complete tutorial playlist on the channel. Feel free to check it out. Alright, the code is ready. Let me also ask it about version compatibility and request the files for download. Now let's move into the development environment. I'll still have the project from my previous video open in VS Code, and we don't have to worry about the base foundational code right now because that is also covered in the display playlist, so I'll just leave it as it is. Alright, I'll simply comment out my earlier animation code specifically and replace it with the files generated by Claude. Let's copy the downloaded files into the project. The generated header file looks quite proper. Includes file guards, optional C++ compatibility, and 2 function declarations. Alright. Inside the source file, we see basic includes a few configuration macros, structure representing a star object with several members, and also functions to start and stop the animation along with a callback function that runs periodically. So theoretically, all I need to do is call the initialization function into the main source file. Alright. Let's build the project and flash it to the microcontroller, and here is the result. On the display I can see 2 stars and a vertical line at the edge. After those 2 stars, the rest of the screen is just empty dark space. Something clearly isn't right. So I took a picture of the display and sent it back to Claude. It analyzed the image and suggested 3 possible bugs, then generated the updated files, and let's download those and try again. Build, flash, issue persists. At this point, I'm slightly frustrated, so I basically scolded the AI a bit and restated the requirement more clearly. Claude politely apologized and generated another set of files. Let's try them. Build, flash, still no improvement. Honestly, at this point, I was thinking of dropping this whole experiment. It felt like AI simply didn't understand my context. But then I decided to give it one final chance. So Claude regenerated files again, this time with some noticeable changes. Let's add them to the project. Build, flash. Okay, now we finally see an improvement. Stars are now visible across the display. Claude figured out that the indexed image format I was using could not be zoomed properly and removed that part of the code. However, 2 issues remain. First, there is still a vertical line at the edge of the screen, that is a scroll bar. And second, the star positions are fixed, unlike the random positions I used in my original animation, or Adafruit uses. So basically one and the same. You can even trace the fixed positions directly in the generated code. Now let's see if Claude can remove that vertical line. But this time I'm not going to explain it technically. I'll just ask it like a normal user. I'll send the picture and ask what that line is. Claude initially gave a very vague answer, so I clarified that it's not a star, it's a line whose length keeps changing. Finally, Claude understood that it was actually a scroll bar element and it suggested adding a particular line of code. Let's try that. Add the change, build, flash, and there we go. The vertical line is gone and stars remain on the screen. The positions are still fixed, but honestly, Claude could probably handle random placement as well if it was asked. Alright, time to turn off the lights because stars definitely look better in the dark. So this was our AI assistant attempting to recreate the star animation similar to what we built in the previous video. If you want to understand the code behind that animation, do check out the earlier video where I explain it and demonstrate its implementation. And somewhat the Claude generated code is similar, of course. I mean, the basic functions for any building block would be similar to what you can think about and what the AI can think about. And that is exactly why AI assisted coding is gaining traction. If you enjoyed this experiment, please like the video, share it with someone who loves tinkering with technology, and don't forget to subscribe. This is Avinashee Tech, signing off.